Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Jack with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today I have Teagan's awesome L5-S1 herniated disc recovery story. It only took 13 weeks for him to become pain-free and keep training through in the meantime. But I'm gonna let him tell you the story. But before we get into it, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Thursday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine. And it doesn't get much better than that. So jump on it. Ready? Let's go ahead and dive into this one.
All right, guys. So today I have my friend Teagan with me, and he's got a pretty good story to share for it overall. So if you don't mind, Teagan, could you just kind of start everybody by sharing with just where you started when you came into my programming and working with me?
Yeah, so I have herniated L5, bothered me a bunch in 2019, kind of went away in 2020, and then came back this year kind of without warning. So I would get nerve pain down my right leg and was kind of looking for some kind of solution to mitigate that pain so that I could get back to being more active and lifting and things like that.
Yeah, awesome. And what did you kind of tried up until this point? I mean, what were things that you had been doing maybe in 2019 that you kind of started with?
So in 2019, I saw a physical therapist for quite a while, and we were applying like the McKinsey method. So it was a lot of press ups and staying in extension as much as possible and avoiding flexion. And I think that helped for a while. And then I saw a chiropractor on and off, more or less just for like the massages to calm things down. And that was really all I had done for it up until 2021 when it flared up again.
Okay. And with that, so your activities are you're lifting, right? And then you've got
Mm-hmm.
two young kids.
Right.
Anything else that you'd throw in there that it was kind of affecting in your daily life and routine, that kind of thing?
Whenever I was sitting, so like sitting at a desk, driving, I do both of those things for work. I drive and sit because I work outside when I'm also in the office. So anytime I was sitting, it really bothered it. And then yeah, I mean, just like picking things up, putting your shoes on, things like that, become really bothered by it. Yeah, picking your kids up, and yeah, I like to try to stay active and lift and whatnot, and it makes all that really challenging too.
Yeah. And when you came in, can you kind of share like what your main goals were coming into the coaching program?
So it was really the main goal is really to try to get rid of that pain, and then just try to have like a kind of like a toolbox of things that I could try to do when it came up again. Because all I really was given before was to be press ups, and that didn't seem to work anymore. So those were kind of my two main goals. And then trying to implement more mobility, and just trying to learn like what might be causing it, what I can do about it. So I kind of had a lot to tackle, but I mean the number one goal was just to try to mitigate the pain, and then just to know what to do when it presented itself again in the future.
Sure. And then even with your lifting, I'll add this one for you because I remember you saying it. You didn't want to lose too much ground with the weight training, strength training, right? As well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I still wanted to keep that up, and yeah, not lose any of that too, which can be hard.
All right. And looking back, 2020 hindsight now, how would you assess like the pathway that we gave you? Would you say that those goals were met within the program over the time period that we spent on it?
Yeah, for sure. It's always hard. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what's helping and what isn't with back pain. It can be really frustrating. We tried a lot of different stuff, and yeah, I think some of those things definitely helped. And yeah, I think I have some kind of go-to things now when the pain comes, if the pain ever comes back or presents itself again, that I can throw at it to try to stop it from flaring up. And just little things too on prevention. Trying to keep my core more engaged pretty much through all activities, especially when working out, and just some other things dealing with flexion to be aware of that I really didn't understand before.
Awesome. And just to kind of clarify for everybody, where is your back at today now? How's it going?
So yeah, so right now I don't have any. I haven't had any nerve pain for probably at least 3 weeks now. It just kind of kept diminishing, and then it would flare up again after like 5 days of nothing, but never to the extent that it was when I first reached out to you. And yeah, now it's totally gone. I do a lot of like hanging from the pull-up bar, and just to try to keep the compression to a minimum, especially like if I bench a lot, I try to hang a lot to try to combat that.
Awesome.
And then yeah, still doing like 4 or 5 main mobilities. I try to do them Monday to Friday.
Awesome.
And little things too, like when I've been, especially if I've been sitting or driving a lot, there's the 2 main moves, like the thoracic extension move and the I always want to call it the wall stretch, but I think you call it the couch stretch, but I do it against the wall. So
hey, that works for me.
Yeah, those are the 2 I really try to do those every day. And then there's some other ones that I throw in there too. So
yeah, awesome, man. What would you say like the most valuable thing about the coaching was for you, or like your biggest takeaways were from the programming?
I guess just to be more mindful of things that I wasn't totally aware of before, especially just how important your core is. And I thought I was being pretty safe since 2019, but I think there were some things that I was doing that are probably slowly causing another flare up. So just things for me to be aware of and more mindful of in the future, because obviously prevention is, would be the best thing to prevent it from ever happening again. So yeah, just a lot of little things to try to prevent it from flaring up again in the future.
Awesome, man. And just kind of like any pointers for anybody if they're watching that has like L5 that or anything that you would kind of say to them to give them direction or guidance in this?
Well, I guess, yeah, just to be mindful of what you're doing, especially if you're lifting. I think it's a little bit different for everybody, but I just think it's important to take into account, like sometimes it feels like you take 2 steps forward, but then you take a step back. Like it's definitely not linear on the on fixing it and kind of progressing past it. And I think it's really easy to get frustrated. There are some days that I was pretty frustrated and would text you, and it's easy to get in the mind state of like, why me? And like when you're active and you feel like you're doing things right, you're like, why can't I like walk? You barely even walk today, and yeah, like I always want a quick fix, and it just takes a while. And one day you'll think you're over the hump, and then you wake up the next day and your nerve pain is back. So it's easy to get down. So I guess just to keep in mind that, yeah, it's not always going to be linear, and the recovery, yeah, you could have some ups and downs, but just to try to keep the end goal in mind and work toward it. It can be easy to get a little bit weighed down with all the different ways to fix it, or help it. So it can just be confusing on, if you should be in flexion, if you shouldn't be in flexion, if it should just be an extension, if you should be a little bit of both. And yeah.
So would you say that we gave you more clarity with some of that stuff at least then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the PT was totally just extension, and that was really it. So, yeah, we did some different things. We did a lot of different things, and I think they all helped at one stage or another, to try to, mitigate it and get it through it. And I think another big thing to point out too is, like, especially when you first herniate a disc, it can really freak you out. Like, oh man, this is it. Am I going to need surgery? But it seems like in a lot of people, once you make it over the hump of the nerve pain, and it starts to, it's not flared up as much, your body can usually kind of absorb it and not like repair itself. Like you usually just need to get over the initial hump of managing pain and getting through that. And it's not something, it's always going to be there. Some days when you're really in pain, you can be like, oh, is this how it's going to be forever unless I get surgery? But in most people, it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say we have an incredibly adaptable body. It's just a matter of the stimuli that we're providing it. And a lot of times it's just finding the right positions, the right stimuli to send it. And that's a big part of it. So that's awesome, man. Just to kind of cap it off with, like, everything in your daily life and routine, like, what kind of big changes are there as far as, the kids, the work situation, because that's a real carryover, right? It's one thing to, like, okay, it's inhibiting how you lift and how you train, but it's a whole nother thing when it's bleeding into your daily everything. So what would you say about that as kind of where you're at versus where you came in?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to be pain-free, and it's not always in the, when it's happening, it's kind of always in the back of your head. It's hard to get past it. When you've got little kids, you're constantly putting your body in, like, positions that probably aren't the best for it, because you're doing things really quickly, or you're having to bend or twist or lift in a way that probably isn't the best. It's really nice not to have constant nerve pain pretty much in, a majority of the positions you need to be in to play with your kids on the ground or sitting with them. Again, driving was just a huge one, just getting in and out of the car, and how many times you do that a day, especially when you drive for work. It's nice not to have pain and kind of have it be in the back of your mind and ruling your thoughts at times.
I was gonna say, did it ever affect your focus or anything like that, would you say, to a degree?
There are definitely days where it did. There are days again when you think you're kind of over it, and you wake up the next day and you feel it again. So it's like, it's the first thing you think about when you get up. And then that's kind of how your day is set. Like, oh, I guess I'm going to be, I guess I'm going to be limping today. So yeah, it's not a good headspace to be in when it's flared up and kind of ruling your thoughts throughout the day.
Well, awesome, man. I'm stoked to hear where you're at, like, currently with everything. And what would you say your main goal is moving forward from here then, is with everything?
I'm still trying to take it relatively easy and just make sure that it's kind of things are still settling down, and hopefully that material that was herniated out is going back into its place. And then from there, just trying to further prevention measures. So working on core strength. I still need to go through a lot of the modules just because we were more focused on mitigating the pain.
Right.
So I didn't get to take like full, like the full course, like full advantage of it. So going through that, and then probably trying to identify some other like weak mobilities. Like I really need to go through more of the low back module and see what other things might be inhibiting my movement and making it flare up. Just getting better at the mobility movements that I'm already doing. I've definitely gotten better at them from when we first started, but I'm still like on the couch stretch. I'm still like barely to baseline on my right side. I can get up and hold it there now, but I can't do it for very long. So just little things like that, like adding time to that.
Sure, absolutely. But again, yeah, coming in from being in pain to, you know, not even touching those mobilities to at least hitting that baseline,
Oh yeah,
that's
for
still
sure.
pretty good progress. And I mean,
Mhm.
it's been 12 to 14, at least 14 weeks at this point right now,
Yeah.
probably out. So
Hmm.
it's I'll take that as a huge win as the coach on this end for that one. So, and I
Yeah,
hope you do too, honestly.
for
Um,
sure.
but again, thank you for your time today, sir. I really appreciate you doing this with everybody and being willing to share your story. It's huge, man. So
Yeah,
um,
no problem.
I do appreciate that.
All right, and there you have it. 14 weeks to pain-free while still training with a herniated L5-S1. If you like this video, make sure you let me know by clicking that big thumbs up down below, and take a moment to share this one with a friend, especially if they've suffered from a similar injury or low back pain in general. And if you're a dad who suffers from low back pain and you want to be able to lift so that you can move with the ease, energy, and youthfulness of your kids, what I need you to do is drop down below in the description here and fill out the coaching application so that we can get you moving in the right direction and free of your pain in the next 12 weeks. Down below to the description, fill out that coaching application. I'll get in touch with you and we will go from there with it. If you guys have not already, make sure you take a moment and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future content like this. Every Thursday, I'm putting out videos showing you how to resolve aches and pains, prevent injuries, and overall optimize your performance inside the gym and outside of it in your daily life and routine. And it does not get much better than that. Welcome to the Stronghold Army. Catch you guys next week.